The Pup Fresh Podcast, Pup Fresh Podcast, Pup Fresh Podcast.
Welcome to the Pup Fresh Podcast, episode number 7. Yes, 7 episodes of the Pup Fresh Podcast. It's like 7 hours of my life that I put into this thing. 7 hours of your life that you've listened to all of these, or 7 hours that you're gonna waste when you go back and listen to every episode because they're that damn good. I mean, if you lower your expectations enough, then they're kind of all right. I mean, I'm not saying like don't have expectations at all. I'm just saying like if you lower your expectations like just a hair, then it'll be worth going back and listening to all of the other episodes, which you can do on our YouTube channel. But you know, just lower them like a notch. You know, just don't think that it's going to be the best thing ever, and then maybe it'll meet whatever you think it's going to be. One thing that won't need any expectations lowered is my guest this week, John, also known as American Opera. He's an old friend of mine. He's the guy that's been doing the Warped Wednesday YouTube covers. He's going to be on the Acoustic Basement stage all summer long on Warped Tour. Here's a clip of a new song of his that I believe he's going to be releasing here in a couple of weeks. And if he doesn't release it in a couple of weeks, then I'm sorry for lying to you, but it's a pretty good clip. So here it is. It is called Jack Pine. See, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. I dug it. I'm a big fan of American Opera and have been for years. And my interview with him, the link to when it starts is down below. New music that I'd recommend this week. Just thought it'd be something that I throw out there. The band Take a Breath released their new album, The Anatomy of a Rose. That's on iTunes. I would 100% recommend that. I just got done listening to it for the first time. I'm a fan. They have my endorsement. Jesse was on the show last week, and I'm not just saying that because he was on the show. I'm saying it genuinely because I enjoyed it. Another band that I'd recommend is the band Ellis out of Michigan. They're really talented, and I'm hoping to see them next week. The new Never Shout Never. I'm shocked by this because I've never been a Never Shout Never fan, and these last like couple of songs that he released I've actually enjoyed. The one, it's called Boom, I think. That's streaming on Pup Fresh right now or wherever you want to find it. It's really, really, really good. I'm like shocked at the fact that I enjoy this because I never was a fan of like the ukulele singing about like being cute and like flowers and gummy bears and all that. Like I was never into that. I didn't understand like the sailor hat thing back in the day. I've never been a Never Shout Never fan, but these new songs that are being released, they're pretty good. Congratulations to the Golden State Warriors, who won the NBA championship last night. I thought I'd give them a shout out because I'm a huge basketball fan, and now I'm crazy, super depressed that basketball season's over. But the good news is we have Warped Tour coming up this Friday. So Warped season is in full effect. You can bet we're going to be posting all the set list, videos, merch posts, everything over there at Pup Fresh. I took the day off on Friday so that we can get that first day coverage, bring it right to you guys. Anybody that digs Pup Fresh knows that day one Warped, we're all over that shit. And so that's going to be kind of fun, right? I still don't know if I'm going to Warped this year just because I don't know if there's a lot of bands that I want to see. I know that I want to see my next guest, American Opera, at the Acoustic Basement stage. I want to see As It Is, Bless the Fall, who else? Motion City Soundtrack. I honestly, Paris, I don't really know who's on the tour that much just because nothing really made like a big splash in my face about it. I'm sure one way or another I'll end up at Warped, but right now I don't have any current plans. Who are you guys planning on seeing at Warped Tour? Actually, I don't give a shit who you're planning on seeing, but if you feel so inclined, please tweet at Pup Fresh telling me who. I just read this. It's unbelievable. Tony Perry of Pierce the Veil is not going to be on Warped Tour, at least some of the beginning of Warped Tour, because he was in a mountain biking accident. I feel bad for the guy. He broke like some ribs, messed up his shoulder, his sternum, like a bunch of things. I just hope that cat's feeling better. I hope that he made a speedy recovery, and I hope that we get to have him out on Warped Tour, because I know a lot of fans would be disappointed. More so than that, I'm worried about the guy's health, because being injured in any sort of accident isn't good. It happened to the dude from 5 Seconds of Summer. A lot of people make jokes and things like that, but let's remember that these are human beings, and we need to hope that they make a speedy recovery. Next week on the Pup Fresh podcast, I'm hoping to have a little collaborative effort between myself and my good friend, John Abelson of Alter the Press. We're hoping to do a little podcast, bringing it to you. Just change it up a little bit. There's been 7 episodes of the Pup Fresh podcast. I'm sure you're sick of hearing me talk. Maybe we get another person in here. I don't know. It'll be kind of fun. But without any further ado, here's the American Opera interview. Let's get right to it. Here you go.
Pup Fresh Podcast!
I'm joined on the phone by an old buddy of mine, John, also known as American Opera. How are you?
I'm great, man. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Listen, before I just started this, I was just telling you how I'm doing. I just ruined a white shirt by eating raspberries because I'm a doofus.
Yeah, you gotta learn, if you are gonna wear a brand new white shirt, you shouldn't have any delicious raspberries around.
Oh man, it's been a while since I talked to you though. We toured together. What was it, like 3 years ago?
That was like the first American Opera tour, maybe the second American Opera tour that I ever did. It was Squid the Whale, and you were there as well. And yeah, that was a good time with some funny things that happened.
There were a lot of funny things that happened, actually. That's a perfect segue, because I actually wanted to talk about some of those funny times. When I was on the road with you guys, that whole group, and to this day, 3 years later, I still say that you're like the nicest dude that I've ever met. You're the funniest dude that I've ever met. And It's a shame we don't talk more than we do, but like I still, like, a lot of those memories that was there with you are still so vivid to me because of like how awesome they were. I don't know, man, just looking back at it, do you remember the time I ran into that window pane?
Gosh, that was one of the funniest things that's ever happened to me on any tour my whole career. And yeah, so I was just thinking about that before we got on the phone together. So here's what happened. We stopped at a gas station in Wisconsin, Squid the Whale, myself, and Decox from Pup Fresh. And so we're stopping at a gas station, and it's really cold outside. And you're in a van for a long time. You kind of get stir crazy. And as soon as we open the door, like I'm out first, and Decox runs out and he spanks me on my tuchus.
Wait, you said run. Let's clarify. That was a full sprint. There's a difference between running and sprinting, dude.
It was yeah. So we got out. I got out of the van and he spanked me on my behind, and he was gone like the wind. He was running so fast, and I didn't even have time to tend to my booty before I realized that I heard and saw a crash, because I watched him run into a gas station, and the windows are so clean in this gas station that it looks like you can just, it's not windows at all. No one saw windows, but damn, Dan ran right into a glass pane, like an 8-foot glass pane, and it shattered his face. Oh my God! I wish you guys could see it how I see it, because it is the funniest. The funniest vision is to see someone run into glass that they do not think is there, because you had no idea what was there, man, and it just rocked your world. It rocked your world, man.
My glasses shattered in the glasses shattered in my face. They made me leave on an ambulance. I never paid that ambulance bill, by the way.
Really, what happened?
Well, they billed me for it. The gas station, remember, they told me that they were going to pay for it and that whatever. They billed me. I didn't pay for that. Are you kidding me? And then I tried to play it off coy. I was like, nothing happened. There's blood running down my face, but I'm fine. And everybody's like, dude, you need a doctor. I'm like, no, I was thinking, well, go on.
You had a pretty serious cut in your eye area.
Yeah, you rode in the ambulance with me, dog.
I was worried about you, man. Like, that's your eyeball. You need that. even though your eyeballs didn't do you that much good in that situation because you ran into a pane of glass.
do you
still
remember
need them in the future?
Do you remember when I had to call my mom and let her know? And for everybody listening, I have one lazy eye, so one of my eyes is like I have like zero vision in, and I'm just on the phone, and the dudes just hear me respond to my mom. No, it was my good eye. Oh man, and then of course the it was a Coob's birthday when we were in the Waffle House.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one? That was my dude. I remember not being able to stop my laughter. So we're at Waffle House, and it was Brandon Kubiak's birthday. He was a guitar player for Squid the Whale, and Brandon's kind of like a soft-spoken guy, and like isn't really. I like when you think, what am I gonna do for Coob's birthday? You wouldn't think what John did. What he did is he turned on the jukebox and was it "Living by a Prayer" by Bon Jovi. And you just start singing it, like you start belting out in the middle of this like full Waffle House, and you got everybody there to sing the chorus with you.
Dude, that's not me. That's just Bon Jovi, dude. I think in any situation when Bon Jovi comes on, I feel like the whole world will sing with that cat.
No, man, you control. You have the ability not only to get up on stage and control a crowd, but a Waffle House alike. Look at you. It was that moment, man, when everybody at the Waffle House, I swear to you, was in unity singing "Living on a Prayer," and it was led by John, American Opera, who's just the biggest goofball that I've ever met in my life, man. That was, and then
that was a fun day.
And then you went next door and you bought him a katana for his birthday.
Yeah, well, I was because it's his birthday, I want to do something for my buddy Coobs, and they were nice enough to take me out on tour with them. They'd been doing that circuit for a little bit, and it was a new project for me. So and I just instantly hit it off with those guys. They're such sweet guys, and I love the people in the band, and I love the band. And if it's your dude's birthday and you're on the road, you gotta get him a katana. That's like number one rule. That's the number one thing you do.
Oh, man. Those are some good times.
Can we back up real quick, though? Because we're forgetting an integral part of the story when you smashed your face into that pane of glass.
What about it? What did I forget? Okay. The mouse?
Well, so yes, the mouse.
The mouse. Wait, when we were leaving the ER?
Yeah, we're leaving the ER, and then we get back in the van, and it's like a 4.5-hour ordeal from the time that you smashed your face to the time that you got stitched up, and then we got back on the road, and we're on the road for no less than 4 minutes when someone screams, "Ah! There is a mouse in the van." I don't understand how a mouse got in the van, but there's a mouse wreaking havoc, and there's 6 grown men screaming like children.
I remember
there's a mouse just scurrying around our feet.
I remember I climbed out of the van so fast, and we were on the side of the road, and it was like a bunch of rocks on the side of the road, like gravel, and I ran out and I fell, and I remember my leg from falling, it was all scraped up, and it hurt more than my eye did. and then I remember everybody trying to catch it. There was like a flashlight, and Wonderwall by Oasis was playing. Is all of you, like, I was just sitting back and watching because I don't fuck around with mice, so I was just sitting back watching all of you trying to catch this mouse, and Wonderwall was playing, and that. But what about when we were leaving the ER, and I'm like, I was walking, and there was a sliding glass.
My God.
You pulled me out of the way from walking into a second pane of glass because I thought it was a double opening door. Okay. Let's talk about
I pulled you aside because apparently you think that you have the ability to walk through anything. Yeah. You think that you you're like a ghost or something. The rules of physics don't apply to you? But you're wrong, bud. I gotta tell you, you're wrong.
Oh man. God.
So I pulled you out just in the nick of time because you would have had to turn around and go right back to the emergency room and explain to them why your other eye was busted up.
Oh man. Okay, so you're I'm gonna try to move on here. Those are honestly some of the best memories there.
Yeah.
You're doing Warped Tour now. Look at you. How many dates of the tour are you doing?
I'm doing the whole thing, man.
The whole thing? You're doing you're doing the whole tour. And how did that get offered to you? I remember a couple years ago you did a few dates, and that was like a big deal at the time, but now you got asked. Did you get asked to do the whole tour, or what happened?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess. I mean, I was super honored to even be a part of the tour, man. I started going to that tour when I was a kid, and it was always a dream of mine to do it. And I remember vividly at the Detroit date, must have been like 2002, 2003. Jeff Rickley from Thursday, they were one of my favorite bands at the time, and I'm watching them, and he's like, "How many of you out there have a band that's gonna come play Warped Tour someday?" And like everyone was like cheering, and they threw their hands up in the air like, "It's gonna be me, it's gonna be me." And I was I was in the back, and I sheepishly held my hand up, and now it's true, and it blows my mind. I'm so grateful to be a part of the tour, but yeah, I'm excited, man. And it came about I guess it started years ago with my old band. We were called Your Best Friend, and we were touring, and we played a show in Nashville with a band called Therefore I Am. And I hit it off with their guitar player, Brian Marquis. And a couple of years down the road, he is the guy in charge of the Acoustic Basement stage for Band's Warped Tour. Mm-hmm. And I just, I saw that they were doing it, and I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, man, can I play any of the dates?" And he's like, "I've got one date in Cleveland, Ohio." And I was living in Chicago at the time, so I drove in a van by myself 13 hours to that Warped Tour date, and I played my ass off, and I hustled, and I tried to get people to watch my set. And then the next year, they offered me 4 dates. It was like a week-long run on the Warped Tour. And I was like, okay, this next year's going to be my year. I'm going to get the whole thing. And I didn't hear anything last year, so I was really bummed. And then this year, I'm sitting on my couch watching wrestling, probably in my underpants, eating pizza like a total loser. And I get the call from Brian Marquis, and he's asking what I'm doing this summer and wants to know if I want to be a part of Van's Warped Tour. And after I tried to contain my composure, I was so elated, man. I was so pumped. So I'm just really excited, and I can't wait.
Honestly, I can't think of many more people that deserve to do the whole tour than you. Just because I know you, and honestly, man, you're like one of the best people that I've ever met in my life. You've always been positive, everything like that. I also admire your work ethic, and I think that that's a huge part of it too, because not only are you crazy talented, I love your music, all that, but it's just been you this whole time, and you're the one who's going out on doing these shows by yourself. You're doing your own merch. You're doing everything all by yourself. And that's pretty, admirable. I mean, don't you think that your work ethic kind of is one of the reasons that you got this opportunity?
I would hope so, man. I mean, I'm just really grateful that, that I'm able to do what I do, like you said, I drive to the shows by myself, in my car by myself. I'm the tour manager, I'm the merch guy, I'm the roadie, I'm the performer. I book the shows, so it's all I've ever wanted to do is play music, and I'm not wired for a 9-to-5 job. Some people can do that. I can't do it. I get too sad. So I just want to be on the road all the time. So I'm always on tour. And I think when you do that, you can, you meet people on the road. That's how I met Brian, and that's how I meet a lot of my friends. It's just random places that I'm playing. You run into bands and you hit it off. And those I've got friends all over the country, and they mean so much to me. And when I see them again, it's like talking to you. We haven't spoken in a while, and we're just picking up where we left off, right where we left off. And that's, I don't know, man. I know work ethic. I appreciate that you see that I'm working, and I hope that means I deserve it. Mm-hmm. I'll say that.
I think that it does, and I remember back when we were on the road, and there were a couple of those shows that really not a lot of people would show up to, and it would kind of be at a dive, and it would just almost feel discouraging to a lot of people that were on the tour or whatever. But I remember you were the one person, and you told me this story about how you got real bummed out after your previous band, Your Best Friend, broke up, and you just sat in your room and you watched the series Lost. And I remember because you told this story and you're like, man, I was so bummed out, and I just thought to myself, any crappy show that ever comes up in the future that I ever have, I would take the worst show in the world over sitting in my room watching Lost. Is that still a mindset that you have?
Absolutely. It's not like, no disrespect to the show Lost. It's a fantastic show. It's just that, like, that band that I was in, we toured, for the better part of 8 years, and then it stopped, and I did not want that band to end. There's no secret there. That was my baby. And I started that band when I was a kid, and I thought that was going to be my band forever. So I was very sad when we called it a day. We all were, everyone, no one wanted to do it, but that's just life. But and I remember being home and being so sad and bummed out about my life. And I know it sounds selfish because, there's so many horrible things that happen in the world. But what I wanted to do was play music, and I wasn't playing music,
Mm-hmm.
So every day I'm just like, I would rather play at a dive bar in front of nobody than, to be home, like, working a job that I'm not passionate about. I just always wanted to play the guitar, and I've always wanted to sing and connect with people and write songs, and that's what I do. That's what I love. So, any day of the week, I would rather be playing in front of nobody. I have more fun doing that because at least I'm trying then, at least I'm working towards a goal. At least I'm driving and working towards my dream, still chasing that dream. If I'm home, I'm like, it's like I'm giving up or something.
Right. And now, look at you. You're doing Warped Tour. I saw the Warped Wednesday things that you're doing. First of all, I just want to say that Real Feels TV is the people that are doing those videos. They did an incredible job filming these things for you. And I'm so bummed out that they're from the Michigan area because I just think because I'm from Michigan, and I'm just like, damn it, no matter how hard I try, I'll never be that good. Because I'm a huge fan of Real Feels. And so you, like, doing that thing with them, I'm a huge fan of it. I love what you're doing. So far, you have the Paris cover up, then the Wonder Years cover. Whose idea was that? How did that come about?
Yeah, absolutely. Real Feels, they're fantastic people, and they do great work. And they're just like, I don't know, Jesse and the guys are just good people, and they're passionate about what they do. And that's always good when you're doing anything with the arts, is passion. But yeah, so that was my idea. I got the Warped gig, and I was really excited about it. And I'm thinking, like, how can I maximize this opportunity? What can I do to get the most out of this? Cause I got Warped Tour, but I'm like one of the smaller acts on the tour, and I want to reach the next level. I want to keep pushing and stuff. So I'm thinking, what can I do to connect with fans of Warped Tour and connect with the bands that are on Warped Tour? And I'm thinking I should just do a weekly cover series where I cover a different Warped band every week leading up to the tour. That was the original idea. But so it's going to go during the tour, but I wanted it to lead up to the tour, but it's still fine. Because and I wasn't familiar with a lot of the acts, to be perfectly honest. I was familiar with Motion City Soundtrack, and my old band played with. Yeah.
What did you cover a Motion City song?
This Wednesday there's going to be it's not even just one song. It's a Motion City Soundtrack medley where I do. It's like 10 songs in one because they're like one of my favorite bands.
They're one of my favorite bands too. This is incredible news to me.
Yeah. So like I couldn't pick which song because I love Motion City Soundtrack, and I know they've got a new album I think coming out this week or maybe a new song this week. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, like I couldn't pick which song to do, so I put 10 and I did a medley mashup of all of them. So, but yeah, I just wanted to maximize the opportunity, and I figured, what better way to do that and pay homage to the bands that are playing and get to know the bands that are playing, because there's a lot of great bands on the tour, and I wasn't familiar with them before this project. And I think I did 14 covers and one original for the series, so it's going to go for the next few months or so.
That's actually really exciting because I figured that it would be a thing leading up to Warped and there'd be maybe like one or two more. But, I mean, the fact that you took the time to learn that many songs and everything, That's again just shows your worth ethic and everything like that. I read some of the YouTube comments, which I think I saw you respond to like a few of them, like on Absolute Punk even, and people were kind of like saying shit about you, like, oh, this guy ruined the song for me, and yet here you are, Mr. Positivity, coming out and be like, well, of course I can't compete with that voice, like, God, like it, again, you're one of the most kind people that I've ever met in the world, because even to people that are saying like really nasty things to you, you'll just even go out there and agree with them. I mean, I don't know.
I mean, what can you do in a situation like the singer from Paris? I think her name is Lindsay.
Yeah,
she has a phenomenal voice. You know,
she does.
I'm not a female with a phenomenal voice. You know, I'm a dude with like a rock and roll voice. You know, so like with covers in any situation, like if that's someone's favorite band, they're not gonna like a cover from some dude. You know. So like you can't hate on people for not enjoying something. That's their prerogative. So right. I'm just happy that I even get the chance. You know, like we pitched the idea to Kevin Lyman, the guy who runs Vans Warped Tour and a bunch of other stuff, and he's been super supportive of the project. Everyone at Vans Warped Tour has been awesome about the whole thing. So you know, I can't expect to blow everyone away with the cover, but like, you know, if people come to a show, if they come see my set on Warped, I guarantee they'll have a good time. And it's okay if you don't like the covers. You know, it's not like I wrote the songs. You know?
Yeah. So totally it doesn't necessarily worry you that you're kind of putting yourself out there, doing other people's songs and things like that. You're not like, were you a little bit hesitant to do it, or did you just think of it as like a golden opportunity?
I'm not a guy that's into covers at all. It's like, right. Like whenever I play a show, I want to show people my art. I want to show people like the songs that I wrote. So if I do a cover, it's going to be like a wrestling entrance theme song or like Metallica, right. Enter Sandman, and it's just going to be to joke around. But with this, I thought it was a cool opportunity to get to know the bands. Like mm-hmm. I had heard a lot of buzz about Paris, but I hadn't listened to their songs. They're fantastic. And same thing with like some other band, like the Wonder Years. Like I had been hearing about them for years, and I got into them because of this project. And those guys write some awesome songs. Right. And obviously I was a fan of Transit, but like Citizen's great. And I mean, there's a couple other covers that I found new bands because of this project.
Right, I agree. And so has that worked out for you at all? Have any of the bands reached out to you or said anything?
Not yet, but it's just a couple weeks fresh, and
it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, you know, we'll get to hang out, you know, all summer long. It's, you know, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So and hopefully I don't offend anybody with my covers.
You're not offending me, man. I loved them. You got a deluxe reissue of your 3 EPs coming out. You want to talk about that a little bit? What kind of sparked that?
Definitely, man. So, okay, for the last, 3 years, I've handmade and hand-stamped every single CD that I've ever sold. And it started out just for those first tours that we did together.
Right. I remember when you were doing that. Sorry to interrupt you, but I remember when you were doing that. I thought that was the coolest thing ever, that you had like a stamp and you're just... I've never seen anything like that before. That was so genius. Go on.
Oh, thanks, man. I was just hand stamping these CDs, and it took forever. And originally I was just going to make like 200 CDs, and then that was going to be it. And but it caught on, and I made thousands of them, which is huge. Like, thank God people are supporting the music. It's huge. But I just got tired of making so many, for every tour. And my stamps are kind of getting busted, and my CD duplicator is kind of busted. And I got that thing at like off of Craigslist in the Bronx, just like a really shady Craigslist deal. But yeah, so like my duplicator is a little messed up, and my stamps are busted, and I think I'm just tired of making them. I think. Yeah. After making thousands and thousands of them, I'm ready to go to a real duplicator and pay someone to do it for me.
There you go. Yeah, so who's doing it for you?
Antique Records is a great label in Boston, and they do mostly like cassettes.
Cassette tapes, yeah. And they did cassette for you, didn't they? Already?
They did. Yep, they did. They're fantastic people, great dudes, and they're really passionate about what they're doing. And they've done cassettes for Never Shout Never and The Body Rampant and Starting with Tigers and a bunch of great stuff. But yeah, so this is their first compact disc release, and it's got all 3 of my EPs, which were all hand stamped before, but they're all on one disc. So it's 18 songs on one disc. It's only $10, so it's like a pretty spanking deal too. And in addition to that, like the packaging, it's a deluxe reissue, so there's a story behind each album and how they were made and how the songs were written, because to be honest, none of them should have ever been released at all. They and there's stories of why and how and where and everything in the deluxe reissue, like how I wrote every single song in a car on tour. And there's stories about that, and I'm really excited about it. And Antique Records is a great label out of Boston, and it's gonna be good, man. I think it'll be available all of Vans Warped Tour.
Very cool. And I saw that you're selling the remainder of your hand stamped EPs.
Yeah, I've only got a handful left. If you guys want them, I got to get them now.
I think that I'm actually, after this interview, I'm going to go buy a set. I almost did it beforehand, but I wanted to ask you, like, dude, do you have them with you, or will it kind of be annoying if I order them right now? Like,
no, it'd be fine. If you order them now, they will get to you when I get up to California. Like,
okay, yeah, either way. Either way, yeah. I just know that I want them because having something that's like hand stamped by you, an artist that I really like, you know what I mean? It's one of those cool things to have before you get all famous on us and have your, real album. Yeah.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
And so you have a new album coming out too, don't you?
Yeah. We're it's all done. I'm releasing a new song off that album in the next few weeks here, and I'm really excited about it. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm really proud of the songs, and I'm really, really happy with how the record came out, and I think it's without a doubt the best work I've ever done. So I'm really, really stoked to share it with everybody. Is
it going to be mostly acoustic stuff, or are you doing like full band recordings, or what's going on with that?
Yeah, it's full band recording. It's an acoustic record, but I think it rocks harder than anything I've ever done in the past. There's a lot of electric guitar. There's a lot of, heavy drums on the record. There's horns all over the record. There's string, like a string section all over the record. There's another duet with a fantastic female vocalist, and I'm really excited, man.
It's crazy to see how far you've come in such a short period of time. I honestly just figured it because, and I'm just anybody listening to this, if you're at Warped Tour, please go out and see John, because the way that you control a crowd, the way that you joke around, you improv, you do your thing, like I've never heard anybody say anything negative about you, your set, your performance, or anybody that's ever met you say anything bad about you. You're just a genuinely like great guy. And
that means a lot. I think I really appreciate that, but you gotta understand, I pay people a lot of money so that they say that stuff.
Paying me thousands of dollars to be on this podcast right now. Hey man, I gotta ask you, so I remember, and I know you probably get asked about this, is like your go-to because you were on Huffington Post for that song you did about US Airwaves and everything like that. They replaced your guitar, right?
Well, here's the story with that. Okay, so when I went to record my new album that we were just talking about, I flew from Detroit to Atlanta. There was a layover in North Carolina. But my guitar, which I gate checked, which means that there was no room for it in the overhead bins, or there's no closets on the flight where you can usually store a guitar. So they put it under the plane, like where you put the strollers, for little children and stuff.
Right. So, and don't they put like dogs down there too sometimes?
Yeah, I think so. I've never traveled with a dog, but maybe someday I will, and then I'll let you know. They do that. But yeah, so I gate check the guitar, which is like the safest way to do it, because you hand it to a guy and he puts it in a plane that you're in, and then the guy hands it back to you right when the plane's over, or right when the flight's over. So when I landed, the guitar was nowhere to be found, and the public, oh my God, the people were so horrible. The person at US Airways, the first person I talked to, she said, this is a quote verbatim. She's like, you're going to have to hold on because I need to take a piss. Like, who says the word piss to someone in a professional environment?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So Yeah, and after like, weeks and weeks and weeks arguing with them on the phone and getting nowhere, and they said, like, we're not going to replace your guitar. There's nothing we can do for you. We're not going to replace your guitar, yada, yada, yada. So I wrote a song, and it got on the front page of Huffington Post, and as soon as it, like, went a little bit viral, they called me up, and they're like, okay, we would love to buy you a new guitar. Just please stop. Please stop whatever it is that you're doing, because here's your new guitar. So
Right.
There's a happy ending, but gosh, it was such a bummer, dude.
To that guitar that you had, was that like any sentimental value to that guitar or anything that you lost, or?
Here's the thing about me. I have every guitar, every instrument that I've ever owned since I've been like 12 or 13. So everything has sentimental value to me. That one especially meant a lot to me because it was like the first guitar that I got after my other band broke up, and it was like, you develop a relationship with your instrument. As weird as that may sound to people that aren't players, like that's your baby, that's your tool, that's your craft. So
right.
And the fact that like I don't have any money, I'm a struggling musician, and a big corporate nasty airline are just going to take your guitar and say tough shit. Like that was heartbreaking to me, And on top of that, I mean, I'm there to record my debut full-length album, and I don't have the thing that I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. I would just imagine, that, I mean, even though they replace a guitar, that's still bullshit. You know what I mean? Like they bought you a new one, right?
Yes, but I had to fight for it. They were not going to do it, but thank God, like people started sharing it online, and thank God it got them so much bad press that they had to replace the guitar.
You told them to. You wrote a song and you told them to suck it. Literally.
Yeah, and they did. They did suck it, so that's good.
Oh man, any chance that you're ever gonna get your beard back?
I've got a little bit of a beard right now.
You going for the full? I remember when I met you, you were like full, like you had the whole thing going, and then you shaved. And not saying that you have an ugly face and that you should cover it up with a beard. I just know you as a guy with a beard, and I see you in all these photos, and you're clean shaven now. You're looking like a handsome young buck. Where's that rugged gentleman that I knew, huh? Where's that caveman ass looking dude that?
Well, I think when we met, I was when we talked about, I was kind of in a dark period. I didn't shave my face or cut my hair for like 2 years.
Well, listen, you looked cool as shit. Let me.
Yeah, maybe someday. I just wonder if I don't know, maybe I'm too old for that kind of tomfoolery or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Did you try out for Tough Enough?
Dude, Tough Enough wishes I would try out for Tough Enough.
Have you been keeping up with wrestling and everything?
Oh, of course, dude.
Dude, I don't know. I see. It seems as though my work schedules me to work every single Monday, and I don't have cable or DVR or whatever. I usually just stream everything online. So like, I just can't find it in myself to like go back and watch it because it's like it's a long show. I don't know. I haven't been following it as closely. I'll watch the pay-per-views, but I don't know. What are you thinking of the current product right now?
It's not my favorite, but I think there's a lot of great things that are happening with the developmental system NXT. The wrestling on that show is fantastic, and the guys coming out of that show, I think it's so good that it's lighting a fire under the main roster's ass. And
right.
Like I can never talk shit about the main roster because wrestling has got to be the hardest job to do ever.
Right.
Just the physical tolls on their body and like the travel and the schedule, like no way, dude. I could never do it. I got so much respect for those guys. But I think like the storylines have struggled lately, and it's not my favorite, but I am so sucked in. I am such a fan that I will watch it at its worst and I will watch it at its best, and then I will love it just the same.
Look at you. Seth Rollins is a big he's into the Warped Tour crowd. Maybe you have a chance to meet that guy.
I would love it. The stage that I'm on is sponsored by Full Sail University, and that's where they shoot all the NXT stuff. So I'm really hoping I can bamboozle my way into meeting some pro wrestlers.
I'm like in a Facebook group of all wrestling fans, and are you in that group at all? Are you? Because if you're not, I need to get you in that group. Listen,
I would love an invite. That'd mean a lot to me.
I'm gonna send you an invite right after this. But listen, there's I think Buddy Nielsen from Census Fail is in there or something, and they're on Warped, I think. And I think Enzo and Big Cass are coming out to do their an introduction for them at one of the dates.
Oh,
I swear to you, man. Yeah, I saw some kind of online exchange between them posted in the group or something, and I was like, what? And then I thought about you. I'm like, what's John gonna have? Because all you gotta do is you gotta be introduced to a wrestler, and they'll be like, all right, I love this guy, because anybody that's introduced to you has that reaction.
I hope so. Here's my problem. I think that I am too much of a fanboy when it comes to wrestling. I think I scare them because I love them so much. So I need to pump the brakes. I need to act a little bit more composed when I meet some of my heroes.
I don't want to meet a wrestler, because then that's when they stop being a superhero to me. You know what I mean?
I met CM Punk, and he was just as badass as he was
man, you told me about that. You went to the screening of his DVD, and he brought you cookies and milk or something.
Yeah, he brought everyone, not just me. He brought
he just brought it for you. He's like, John, you want 2% or whole, buddy? And
yeah, man.
Oh, I'm so jealous that you met CM Punk. He's my all-time favorite. Everything.
Yeah.
Either way, are you gonna watch UFC because of him?
Of course.
Yeah, so am I. I don't watch UFC now, but I'm gonna watch it for CM Punk. That's just.
No, it scares me, dude. I think because I watch pro wrestling, I'm used to people not getting hit in the face for real.
Right.
I mean,
right.
There are accidents. People do get punched in the face, and obviously what they're doing is going to hurt their bodies. But UFC is so physical, and there's so much blood and teeth flying everywhere. I will say I did watch a Ronda Rousey fight, and I loved it. She is such a badass.
I agree with you completely. I went back and I watched all of her fights, because I just had 20 minutes to kill, and that's how long it takes to get through them all.
Totally, yeah. You can probably do it in half that time.
Right. No, she's unbelievable, and she's making me a fan of the product and everything like that. But I don't know, John. It was very good catching up with you.
Dude, back at you, dude. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure talking to you, buddy.
Is there anything that you want to plug that we didn't plug, or is there anything that you want to add? I don't know.
I guess, yeah, if you guys want to check out American Opera, the website's americanopera.net, and I'll be on the whole Vans Warped Tour on the Acoustic Basement stage. Come see all the bands on the Acoustic Basement stage, because they're going to rock your ass in half. We really are. I mean, I know you guys are thinking, who's listening to this, my ass is already in half. But I'm talking about the other way. It'll rock your ass in half from top to bottom, so that way you've got 4 butt cheeks.
Oh my god, I miss you so much, man.
I miss you too, man.
Oh man, every time you're brought up in conversation with people, I just say I miss you so much. My girlfriend, I started dating her right after our tour, and I really haven't seen you since, and I always tell him I wish that you met John, because dude, you're the pinnacle of what a human being should be to me.
Oh, come on. Thank you, man. That means a lot. Thank you.
Listen to you. You're just, come on, man. Come on. Look at you. You're so happy. Oh, man. Well, everybody, go listen to American Opera. You have my endorsement, if that means anything at all. And if you're at Warped Tour and you miss them, then that's on you, because, All right, John. I think we're done. I don't know. That was fun.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. That was a lot of fun.
Be sure to keep an eye out every single Wednesday for John, American Opera's Warped Wednesday cover videos. He said in the interview he has a lot coming for us. Be sure to keep an eye out for his new album coming out, the new reissue of his EPs coming out. Head over to his store, Envy. Buy the last hand-stamped copy. That's going to be a cool thing to have once this becomes your favorite band. Keep an eye out for the new song that he's going to be releasing that I played earlier in the show. A lot of fun things coming with American Opera. More importantly, go check him out at the Acoustic Basement stage on Warped Tour. It'll be a good time. That's it for the Pup Fresh Podcast. Head over to youtube.com/PupFresh to catch up on all the other episodes. Subscribe to us on iTunes if you're into the podcast app on your phone. Head over to SoundCloud if you want to hear my hot new mixtape. Just kidding, I don't have one, but I'm using SoundCloud, so you may imagine that I do. But that's where you can also listen to the Pup Fresh Podcast. Follow at Pup Fresh on Twitter. Tweet us questions that you want to have answered in future episodes. Let us know what you think of the show, but only if it's a positive thing that you think of the show, because I don't want to hear you talking shit about me. I'm just not into that. That's not my thing. Who wants to hear somebody say a negative thing? Unless it's in a constructive manner. Then, of course, I want to hear what you have to say to me so that I can improve it and make it a better listening experience for you. But that is it. That's the podcast. Get the hell...
It's the Pup Fresh Podcast, Pup Fresh Podcast, Pup Fresh Podcast.